Welcome everyone to another episode of Price Targets with your host Bitcoin Jack. It's been a real pleasure to record the video a little bit earlier and receive all the positive feedback. I also want to thank you for the constructive feedback, kind of talking about how, for example, the audio was not that loud. It was kind of soft, so I kind of tried to fix that. Let me know if that is better. We also didn't talk about Ethereum, talking a long time about Bitcoin, setting up kind of the base structure for the future, the near-term future videos. So in these videos, I'll probably reference back to how we kind of constructed the price action, and I'll try to keep it structured that way. So basically the first video is going to take a few more minutes, slightly longer, and then as we've set these up, we're probably just going to jump into them, update them, look at them, talk about them, but it's probably going to take a lot less time. That said, we skipped ETH BTC, so I think we should jump into ETH BTC, and I don't know, I'm trying to do some background music right now. Maybe that works for you, maybe you don't like it. Let me know that too. That said, ETH BTC, because we're charting on the weekly time frame, I really wanted to see what happened way back in 2015, 16, and 17. So that for that reason, we're looking at the ETH BTC chart on Bittrex. Obviously, this is not a place where I want to trade my ETH, simply because the liquidity is far less than some other exchanges. I would probably trade it either on Binance or on Bitfinex. Currently, I'm trading it on Binance. A few things to note on this chart, and we're just gonna not take as much time as the Bitcoin chart to set everything up, is the retest back in September 2019, right there on the logarithmic mean of the 2015 bottom and the 2017 top. And ever since then, ETH has been in a downtrend. I think it's been in a corrective structure, even though, you know, this is 90% down. But I do think it's an ABC structure. So A, B, something like that, whatever, and then C down there, and it's quite peculiar. Maybe I'm wrong about this structure, but it kind of feels like when you zoom out on it, it kind of feels like a slow bleed into support, and then there's like this block here from 2016, this weekly little range that kind of saw the fake out, and then the reversal, which kind of strongly nuked into all-time highs. So that's interesting. More locally, we should be focusing on the current structure, which is kind of a little bit foggy in terms of ETH BTC. But what we've seen since actually the bottom of September 2019 is that the whole correlation has changed. Before that, it kind of seemed that if Bitcoin was going down, ETH BTC would be going down, and if Bitcoin was going up strongly, ETH BTC would bleed too. So basically, ETH BTC would bleed. But since the 2019 bottom, what we can see is that there's been a clear decoupling in that sense. Generally, things moving in sync. The only exception, things didn't move in sync, was probably here or here. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure on that, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. The bottom line is that it kind of seems that ETH has been leading ever since this bottom right here. On the way down, before this final leg down, there's been a lot of untouched tops. So this hasn't been touched, this hasn't been touched, this hasn't been touched. And I think that's important to note, that big pockets were not looking to load up on a lot more short exposure by taking out the wicks. They didn't take out the wicks, so there was a lot of pressure right here, a lot of negative sentiment, and I think that this is like the classic fake out. Just take this below this level and this level, and then now it actually has like reclaimed, broke out of this range, this old range from 2016, and it's trying to get itself back into the previous range, and it kind of half did manage that right here, and then it got rejected. So what I do think is that this is an impulsive move. I do think that this is a failed bear rally. I don't think this is part of the uptrend. I think this is a failed rally down, and then the first impulse that we saw is this move up here, and now we're just consolidating under the level. So basically this is our resistance. I think if we break that, I think we're gonna rally to the range high of the previous range. So this is like the fake out, this is not a fake out, but close within it. This is definitely the deviation. This confirmed the range, and now we're down here. I think this is a reaccumulation pattern, and then we're going to claim it, and then we're going to rally to these wicks. And you just got to consider that these wicks were never run, so they're like a super magnet for price. If we don't run them, I'm going to be very surprised. There's one thing to note, is that there's definitely a possibility that we're going to go down and retest this. I don't think we're going to do that, simply because of the fact that the chance that this is some kind of triangle is very, very, very small, and we're just consolidating under resistance right here. So if we further zoom in, it's clear to me, very clear to me, that once we actually break this, we're going to break this range here. So break this, boom boom, I'm pretty sure we're going to break this, and then we're going to rally up there. So bottom line, don't long resistance, but do long it. I would long it if I didn't have exposure already, if we break this resistance right here, and I do think that we're then definitely gonna be back in the previous range, which is kind of like this previous range right there. If we get back into it, we're most likely gonna travel to the upside of that. Longer term, if that breaks, it kind of makes sense for price to reach into this area, which has been a lot of, you know, up and down, up and down, and up and down. But that's like the next resistance. Not saying it's going to reverse there. Not saying it's not. It is going there, but that's definitely the next area. So for now, for the next couple of months, I do think that we're gonna see price move. Well, how much is that? Probably, yeah, close to 40. Let's say 40%. I think that's it for ETH BTC. It's nice that we at least have set up this chart, and we can reference back to it into the future. Please let me know if the sound is better, if the audio is good right now, and see you next time.